Welcome to Tech Bytes and News, your daily roundup of articles featured in Hacker News. Today, we're diving into 7 common pitfalls to avoid when crafting technical architecture diagrams. It's all about clear communication, right?
Absolutely. Effective diagrams are crucial for conveying complex systems. So, what's the first major mistake to watch out for?
Mistake number 1. Creating theoretical diagrams instead of concrete ones. Think about it. A generic Kubernetes diagram is readily available online. What's truly valuable is a diagram showing your specific architecture, with named resources and their relationships. It's about providing specific, actionable information, not just a general overview. Showing the actual implementation, not just a possible one.
I see. So it's about practicality over theory. Makes perfect sense. What about the next common error?
Number 2. Mixing levels of abstraction. This is like mixing apples and oranges in your code. You end up with a confusing mess. You shouldn't directly link low-level components, like individual Lambda functions, to high-level services like DynamoDB in a single diagram. Keep things at the same level of detail for clarity. Separate diagrams for different levels of detail are much better.
Right, maintain consistency. That's key for readability. What's another frequent problem?
Too many overlapping concerns. Stuffing everything into one diagram makes it cluttered and unreadable. Think of a diagram showing resources, regions, VPCs, auto-scaling groups, all at once. It's overwhelming. The solution? Break it down into smaller, more focused diagrams, each addressing a specific aspect of the architecture.
That's a really good point. It's about prioritizing information, isn't it? What else?
Unlabeled arrows. An arrow without a label is like a sentence without a verb. Incomplete and confusing. It implies a relationship but doesn't specify the nature of that relationship. Always label your arrows to clearly show how resources interact. Unless, of course, it's a series of identical arrows, then you can omit the repetition for clarity.
Got it. Clear, concise labeling is essential. What's next on the list?
Misleading composition. This is tricky. The way you visually represent the containment of resources can be deceptive. For example, showing availability zones inside a VPC is inaccurate. Use visual cues, like dashed lines, to indicate different types of relationships to avoid confusion. Or, better yet, separate diagrams for different contexts.
Interesting. That's a subtle but important point. I hadn't considered that before. What about other common mistakes?
Missing context? Don't assume your audience knows where your resources live. Include a couple of levels of context, like showing resources within a VPC or availability zone, to provide crucial information and organization. But don't overdo it. Remember point number 3.
That's a great point. Context is everything. And the final mistake?
Missing accompanying explainer text? Diagrams are great for showing what, but not why. Always include text to explain design choices and reasoning. A walkthrough is even better. It's about providing a complete picture, not just a visual representation.
Excellent summary. These 7 points are incredibly helpful for creating clear and effective architecture diagrams. Thanks for highlighting these common mistakes.
My pleasure. Remember, clear communication is key in architecture diagrams. Avoid these pitfalls, and your diagrams will be much more effective. Thanks for tuning in to Tech Bytes and News. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.